country pauses to acknowledge and honor those brave men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces.
One way that we show respect to our country and veterans is by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and you may be seated.
On Veterans Day, we honor those people who served in the armed forces of the United States of America. This U.S. holiday is observed on November 11th every year. We are so lucky to have veterans in our extended Dragon family. No matter if you served with the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, or Coast Guard, we are forever grateful for your service. In your honor, we will play each branch's official song. When your branch of service is called, please stand to be recognized. The United States Army. The United States Navy. The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force. And the United States Marines. will now hear a Veterans Day poem from Ruby and George Darnell.
While we were here at home, they traveled land and sea to make sure we stayed safe, to protect and keep us free. Words are not enough to give them what they do. On Veterans Day, please thank them for their service to me and you.
Next, I am pleased to introduce our featured speaker, retired Army Captain Josh Darnell. Josh is a longtime resident of Oconee County and a graduate of Oconee County High School and the University of Georgia. After college, Josh served in the United States Army as an infantry officer for 5 years. While overseas in the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, Josh sustained injuries which resulted in his medical retirement in 2010 at the rank of captain. He is married to North Oconee High School teacher Melissa Darnell and is the proud father of Ruby and George, two of our very own Dove Creek Dragons who you just had the pleasure of hearing read our Veterans Day poem. Please join me in a warm welcome for Mr. Josh Darnell.
Good morning, Dragons. I hope that you're all having a good day, a good week. I hope you're all having a great fall semester. So far, I consider myself so fortunate to be here, to be able to stand here on this Veterans Day and look out on all your smiling faces. Well, some of you are smiling. It is still early, I understand that. I should start by saying that I love spending Veterans Day here at Dove Creek. It is always an honor to speak to all of you. And you might not know it yet, but you are the generation that is going to save this beautiful world that we all share. It's true. And that means you are all superstar celebrities in my book. And because I know that each of you is fast on your way to accomplishing things that are wonderful and important and fun, I'm just grateful to have a few minutes of your attention. My name is Josh. I grew up here in Oconee County. And I live here now with my family, my wife Melissa, who's the dance teacher at North Oconee High School, my kids, Ruby and George, who are in the 4th grade and the 12th grade, right here at Dove Creek. I promised Ruby that I wouldn't embarrass her today by going off on one of my stories. That is a promise that I have no intention of keeping. You see, I'm an old guy, and like most old guys, I like to tell stories. I believe that stories are a perfect way to share our experiences with one another, from person to person, and from generation to generation. Stories allow us to learn from other people's successes and mistakes. They teach us to feel what other people feel. They help us to understand that even though each of us is special and different, we are all at our strongest and bravest when we work together to overcome our shared challenges. Yeah, it turns out there's a reason your teacher keeps all those books in your classroom, and a reason Miss Molina works so hard to keep that media center well stocked with things to read. It's because stories help to bring us together. They bridge the differences between us and help us on our way to becoming the best versions of ourselves. You might find that the military veterans in your life have lots of stories to tell. That's probably because their military service has taken them to interesting places where they've had the opportunity to do and see things that most people will never do or see. Telling stories helps veterans to remember the things they learned about themselves during their time in service, and it provides them a way to share those lessons with others. So being a veteran myself, I'll take this opportunity to tell you a story about my time in the military. Once upon a time, before there was any such thing as Dove Creek Elementary School, and even before there was any such thing as George and Ruby, I was an infantry officer in the United States Army. And if you don't know what the infantry is, it's the part of the Army that does a lot of running around and jumping off things and sleeping in the mud. For my gamers in the room, it's kind of like Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone with 99% less excitement and 300% more just waiting around. One day, the folks in charge sent me and my fellow soldiers to a place called Afghanistan, all the way on the other side of the globe. And when we got there, we found it to be a very beautiful place, filled with sprawling deserts and awe-inspiring mountains. and warm, proud people with a history stretching back thousands of years. But it was also a very dangerous place at times, and often a confusing place where it wasn't always clear what was right and what was wrong. Every day, Afghanistan presented us with new challenges. And there were definitely days in Afghanistan when all of us wondered if we could handle the challenges in front of us. We were lonely. We missed our homes and our families. We were scared because sometimes people would get hurt or would be lost to us altogether. We were even angry sometimes because we weren't sure that the things we were doing could really help the people of Afghanistan, and we questioned whether we should even be there. But somewhere, in one of our darkest moments, when the challenges seemed insurmountable and the cost of continuing seemed too high, we made the decision to believe in ourselves and to believe in each other. We found ways to feel closer to home, whether it was throwing in the earphones and secretly jamming out to Taylor Swift's second album, or sharing a Thanksgiving meal in the desert, turkey and gravy from a plastic pouch. We found ways to care for each other by sharing the contents of goodie boxes sent by our families, or by sitting and listening when someone needed to talk. We found ways to empower ourselves by learning as much as we could about the land and its people so that we could be confident we were giving our best for the mission, for each other, and for the people of Afghanistan. We decided to be the right people for the job. And together, we proved stronger than the challenges in front of us. When we came back home, we were changed in some ways by the challenges we had endured. We had learned that it's okay to be sad sometimes, because a little sadness can make you truly appreciate the things that make you happy. We learned that it's okay to feel angry sometimes, because learning to control that anger is one of life's most important skills. We came back with a few new scars and the knowledge that people, all people, are so much stronger than they realize. All of my stories have a point, despite what Ruby and George might tell you. And I tell you this story because your life, just like Afghanistan, is going to be beautiful and awe-inspiring and full of challenges. You will grow up in a world full of wonders that your parents and grandparents could only have dreamed of. But with those new wonders will come new problems. And there will be times when you hear people ask if the progress is worth the effort. There will be days when you are scared and the people around you are scared, and you will ask yourself if you are really the right person to tackle all the challenges that a changing world has to offer. And I am here to tell you, you are. You are the right person for the job, even on the days you feel sad, especially on the days you feel sad, because those feelings mean that you care. The strength, the courage required to shape this world for the better, it burns inside you right now. You were born with it, each and every one of you, and the light from that flame will guide you whenever the path goes dark. I love to read, and I know enough about Dove Creek to know that reading is a big part of what y'all do around here. My favorite book series is the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. I love to read it again and again. I love to read it with my kids. It follows the story of Frodo Baggins, a peaceful hobbit who is tasked with carrying the Ring of Power, a weapon of great evil, all the way to the fires of Mount Doom so that it can be destroyed before it plunges the world into darkness and war. In a moment where things around him seem too scary and he feels overwhelmed, Frodo turns to his friend, the wise wizard Gandalf, and says, and I'm going to do the character voices because that's one more way that I can embarrass Ruby. I wish it need not have happened in my time. And Gandalf says, so do I. So do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. It's your decision. Those scary things out there in the world, they don't get to decide who you are. You get to decide who you are. It's a decision you make when you show kindness to the people around you. It's a decision you make when you show kindness to yourself. It's a decision you make when you find the courage to turn the page to the next part of your story. And the best thing about your story is that it never really ends. It begins anew, and you get to write it fresh every single day. Thank you for inviting me here today. Thank you for listening. like so many who have served through the military and in countless other ways, I know that your life story will be one worth telling. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You did an amazing job. One of my favorite things in the world is to hear children sing. So, great job. And Josh, thank you for your words. I think we're all better today, leaving here today because of it. If I could, can I get all our veterans to stand, please? These individuals and the other veterans that are part of the Dove Creek family represent 103 cumulative years of service to our country. No matter the branch of service, years of service, or the manner in which you served, raising your hand and committing yourself to the service of this country was a brave and selfless act. From the son of a Marine to those who have served and those who continue to serve, I thank you. We thank you. You are the reason that Americans can sleep peacefully at night. You knew the risks, but you accepted them in many instances so that others wouldn't have to. While this ceremony is coming to a close, our gratitude for your service and sacrifice will go on long after we leave here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give them another round of applause. As you leave here today, please stop by our hero wall that's located outside of the Media Center, where you can see all of the veterans that are members of our Dragon family. Thank you for being with us today, and safe travels.